would prefer me to do these lives in the reading. But as you guys all know, by this particular point, I am just ridiculously random. And whenever I have the energy to do a live, then that's whenever I do the live. Okay. I do try to possibly do it in the evening, but that's whenever it feels like I have all this stuff going on. So it's kind of difficult for me to do it in the evening, but I do try to schedule it during that time. But either way, so this is going to be a chart based off a request. Now, most of the charts that I do are from request. So of course, if you guys have requests, don't forget to drop those below the video in the comments, or you can text me, you can email me. A lot of you guys love to text me. I have no problem with it. Besides the fact that baby Caden has the phone half the time. So if you guys can just be patient and wait for me to get to the phone and answer, then yeah, we might have something. Again, if I'm going in and out, just like give me, I don't know, wave the red flag or something, and then I'll stop talking and I'll wait for it to correct itself. But it should be okay. Nobody's really here. So nobody's really on the internet except me. So we might have to make these videos shorter, people. I know you guys love for me to do hour-long videos, which I really don't mind either, but sometimes they could possibly get a little draining with the hour-long videos, okay? But either way, Yolanda, aren't you supposed to be working? Okay, anyway, hello everybody, and Yolanda. So let's take a stab at this. So we're going to be looking at Demi Lovato. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do any more of the Disney Channel stars. All know how one turned out, unfortunately. So I don't know if that's a lane I'm going to step down into. This will be something that I'll have to think about. But for now, we'll just look at Demi Lovato. Okay, like I said, I'm going to try to make I'm going to try to make this one short, to be honest. I really am. But yeah, I don't know if I should, hold on. Guess I just have to do it this way. Here we go. Okay. Of course, Yolanda, you are on the bridge by yourself. Okay. Just kidding. I don't know. I don't know who China McClain is. A lot of these people that you guys have put recommendations on, I don't know, but that's okay. We can always learn about them. So here's the screen, guys. Now, of course, this natal chart is going to look different than the system that I normally use, which I will move over to the system that I normally use in just a second. But I already had like her chart pulled up. I haven't really looked at her placements or anything like that. Her birth time that they have in the system, it says that it is likely incorrect, but we'll just go with what they have. All right. So she was born on the 20th of August. So that would make her, she's still a Leo, almost a Virgo. Okay. And here it says that she is at 6 a.m. So it will be Leo ascendant. No, Taurus. No, wait a minute. No, Leo ascendant, Taurus moon, Leo sun. Again, we don't necessarily know if that's 100% correct because it could be wrong. All right. As you can see, there's a little bio down here. Made her debut on Barney and Friends, and she rose to prominence when she starred in the movie Camp Rock Disney Channel, which I remember that release. She released her debut single, This Is Me, peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100. Okay, and then her debut album, Don't Forget, debuted at number 2. This is mostly all of her stuff. Now there was an incident in 2018 where she was rushed to the hospital in Los Angeles after they were called to her home due to an opioid overdose. Okay, she was reported to be stable and recovering later that day. I did do a past life reading on Demi Lovato on my other channel. Some of you have seen it. One of you guys actually made the suggestion based off of the video that I did. So thank you, because I kind of forgot about that video. But I hadn't really been putting up a lot of content on that other channel because, once again, I don't know what it is, but it's almost like as soon as I open my mouth and I say something about these people, beloved, I don't know, these beloved fans, for some reason, they be getting out of pocket. And it's like, it ain't that deep, because if we're going to be honest, you could be dying tomorrow. They don't give a damn if you're dying. So let it go. But lo and behold, majority of what I say on that video came to be true, but I'm not bragging. Okay. But either way, so let's take a look at her. Let's see if it's in the system, because I'm not sure. It may not be. Okay. So I'm going to Okay, that was, oh, don't worry about that. Where am I going? Oh, celebrity chart right here. Did I have it? I did. Oh, it's just taking forever to load. Or maybe I didn't click correctly. That could be it. Oh, I hope I don't spell her name wrong, but I'm pretty sure I spelled her name right. Okay, yeah. So birth time isn't going to be the greatest, to be honest, but we'll just have to work with it. I haven't did any sports people. I think I said I may possibly do Muhammad Ali and Floyd Mayweather. I only said that because Neymar's sitting right up here in the top Brazilian football player, maybe have to do something with them. Michael Jordan may be a good one, to be honest. But my dad and Michael Jordan are kind of like the same age and kind of like from around the same area in Chicago. And even he said the thing was back then, everybody knew that Michael Jordan was an ass. So, it shouldn't surprise anybody the way that he is. But, anyway. So we're on Demi Lovato's chart. As you guys, like I said, she was born on the 20th of August, making her a Leo. Now, with her being born on the number 20, now I have been associating the number 20 with the Judgment card in the tarot. We know the Judgment is a major arcana, and the Judgment card is about enthusiasm, enthusiastic people. But this is kind of like maybe blind faith, we can even possibly say in a manner when it pertains to judgment in some aspects, especially when it pertains to fortune and fame. That number 20 or that judgment energy, when they really tap in, because it is tied to Sagittarius. So whenever they really tap in, they can go there. Okay. Now, at what cost? We don't know. It depends on the person, but that enthusiasm is there. That very Jupiter energy is there for them, that type of goal. If that's what they want, they may or may not want it. Somebody else may be pushing it. Who knows? But if we break down this number 20 to a single digit, we get the 2. Now, we know the 2 is tied to moon. Okay, 2 and 7 are moon energy if we're talking about numerology. Okay, but if we go to our guide right here, which there we go, our guide right here, people, we have the number 2 is tied to Aquarius. Okay, highlight it so you guys can see. As you can see right there. So Aquarius energy also, if I just look at the natal chart without putting a time or a date on it, Aquarius is normally on the 11th house, which can also be a house of celebrity status, party planners, event planning. It also can be one of community, faith, because I've said it before, when it pertains to Aquarius, if we're looking at Saturn, because we know Capricorn and Aquarius are both pretty much occupied by Saturn, but Aquarius essentially would be the lighter side, or it should be the lighter side. We're not saying all Aquariuses are on the lighter side of the spectrum. I'm not saying all Capricorns are on the darker side of the spectrum, but I'm just going based off of the book of rulership. Okay. So we couldn't even possibly just say when it pertains to her, especially if she is in an emotional state, or maybe if she possibly is feeling emotionally unwell, community probably rallies around her. We couldn't even possibly say maybe the same thing in a manner that maybe community rallies around her in a manner to keep her from looking worse than what it could be. So she may look bad because remember, the moon is tied to the masses. The moon is like your popularity. You really can't do much of anything without the moon if you're trying to be popular, if you're trying to be famous. Think about it this way. Think about maybe why a lot of people automatically think about the United States when it comes to the place to get fame, because the United States is born during Cancer, July 4th, 1776. Okay. Independence Day. So with that being said, when it pertains to that type of energy, it's like the United States is coming with that moon energy. It's coming with the support from the masses. Okay. Now, again, the moon is kind of fickle. It doesn't stay in the same sign for too long. You got like 2.5 days, and then the moon is off to somewhere else. Hence why the term 15 minutes of fame, maybe that came from the energy tied behind the moon. We could possibly say that. Now, it sounds more like a Leo type of thing, but I would say now, just based off of learning things about the moon and other stuff, that saying maybe could be tied more specifically to the moon, because the moon can make or break you, since it is tied to the masses, but also the moon is tied to women. Women can make or break you. Possibly also maybe whenever it pertains to popularity, because think about how many women there are in the world. What's the ratio? Is it like 4-1 or something like that? So women can make or break you. Okay. Even if we're talking about people that are bad, negative, and they don't get broken. Why? Because somewhere, somehow, deep down in a place that is unseen, women are supporting this bad behavior. It's not enough to completely kick them off of the island, because they still have the women in the manner supporting them. Okay. So that's just something for you to think about either way. Even if you're trying to be popular, whatever it is, you have to, in a manner, cater to women. The moon, the Cancer, or the United States, we could say, is like a big ball of feminine energy. So you have to cater to that. Think about the rise of feminism. Think about that now. Okay. But either way, so back to what I was saying when it pertains to Demi Lovato. Okay. So with her being born pretty much on like a number 2 day, her having the judgment. Now, I need to get my sheet, because I will read the description when it pertains to her. And actually, I need to check a message while I'm talking, because it seems like it's important. So I'm going to be on mute. I'm still here. Okay, never mind. It wasn't important. I hate when they do that. They blow your phone up and then they leave a voicemail and you're just like, really? That could have been a text. But anyway, so where was I going? Oh yeah, I'm gonna read her 20, the number, the day that she was born, number 20, in my numerology little sheet, which I keep forgetting to put this on the website, unless I already did. Maybe not. Number 20. So of course, this is ruled by the moon. Those with 20 neighbors are very calm and peaceful. They love peace. They are sympathetic enough to help the poor and the needy. They life independence. They can revolutionize life. They awaken the sleeping society. When they become selfish, they turn to destroy the family, the society, and the country. This number can indicate esoteric powers. Venomous creatures do not harm them. They are successful in Is that medication? Yeah, they are successful in medication, but they have to control their anger. When they become selfish, they end up in failure. They benefit the whole society with a selfless attitude. They want to dispel the distress of others. They assume the position of lieutenants. Very military-esque here, just based off of that number 20. But even with that being said, it's so interesting how they pretty much say that this number could be like a successful pharmacist or somebody who deals, like it says, with medication. But it's that selfish part that they keep repeating over and over again, which makes sense. Okay, which makes sense if we think about it. It does make sense when we're talking about, well, is it selfish? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Some of you guys that know cancers, or you are a Cancer, you may say, yeah, they're selfish, but I don't know. Debatable. But either way, so now since we know a little bit about the day that she was born, we're going to take a look at her moon. Again, we're just going to be taking her chart as if her birth time is excelente. So she has moon in Taurus. Now, moon is in Taurus, okay? It's at fall in Scorpio, right? Yes. And the moon is also in Capricorn, okay? In case you guys haven't heard me say that 5 times before. But I'm going to keep repeating myself because I just want you guys to, remember this for your own records, I guess. So she has moon in Taurus at the top of the chart, okay? So we could say, and possibly just based off of maybe she has done in the public, we may be able to possibly debate that the moon may be in Taurus. Because moon and Taurus people can be, that earthly energy is supposed to give you that balance when it pertains to your emotions. But then again, she could be quite balanced when it pertains to her emotions. Maybe. Okay. But either way. So Anne is at the top of the chart in her 10th house, sitting exactly on top of her midhaven. Now, midhaven, as you can see right here, whenever I say midhaven, I'm talking about this placement right here that says MC. Normally, the midhaven is like, in the 10th house. I've seen charts where the midhaven may be shown in the 9th house. It kind of just depends on the chart. Okay. So whenever it pertains to her energy, okay, people may possibly say, maybe this could have been whenever she was younger, people may possibly say that she has a good energy, maybe that can accumulate us money or accumulate us. Okay, I don't know. That's just a guess for me. Okay, now with her moon, of course, like I said, technically being in a house that is technically, if we take away birth time and stuff, that is technically tied to Capricorn, because Capricorn is in the 10th house. Your 10th house is your career. Your 10th house is your reputation, but also Taurus rules the throat. Taurus rules the voice. So this could even possibly be not just an energy here where they could say, oh, hey, you got the potential to make us possibly a lot, whoever this could be, invest, whatever, but also her voice. Okay, because like I said, Taurus rules the throat. She has this very vibrato, I guess. I mean, if I would guess, I don't know if she's done opera, or she may honestly be pretty good when it comes to maybe doing opera, but maybe she doesn't know it. Maybe she hasn't really tried that, because again, when it comes to the masses, she's probably trying to appeal to what is going to give her money, because Taurus is money, people. Taurus is the second house, money, possessions, assets, okay, income, all that good stuff. So at this point, it becomes more so about what's going to appeal to the masses to give me money, even though I said there the vibration definitely when it pertains to her voice. But in my opinion, maybe she's not really using her voice the right way. But to take this a step further, we're going to scroll on over to her second house. Second house is in Virgo. Again, since Taurus normally is on the second house and it also rules the throat, we couldn't possibly say how maybe we could say in this instance, how is her voice really? Even though, we have this vibrato type of energy here, and we have energy here of her using her voice to appeal to the masses, okay? But we could even possibly say maybe in some type of manner, maybe her voice is, maybe her voice can be or is in a little bit of a bad shape, because Virgo represents, healing, healers, writing and stuff like that. So this almost gives me this energy here where maybe she's having some issues when it comes to vocal cords. And that may be maybe a situation that possibly was always there. Okay. That's why I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess opera is like a higher octave, or can you do opera in a lower octave? I don't know. I don't listen to opera, but for some reason I'm hearing opera here when it pertains to her. But I would say when it pertains to her voice, from my opinion, I think she should stick to the lower registry when it pertains to her octave, because the high, I'm not getting high pitch here. Okay. I'm not getting that. It kind of like, not Toni Braxton, because that's the only other person I could think about that kind of sings in that lower octave, but not saying that she can't sing in a higher octave. I'm just saying, if we're talking about the health of vocal cords, you maybe just need to go down. It's too high. It may come out to a point where it seems like you're screaming, and it's like, please stop screaming. Even though for her, maybe in her ear, it may sound good, but in my opinion, I think she needs to go down an octave, or she needs to stay in lower registry, like I said. But we know how this goes when it pertains to, you got a job to do. So like I said, she may be stuck in an issue where she is trying to appeal to the masses, okay? And they may be like, it could be one of those things where she may have hit one note, one high note, and then they kind of like stuck with it. And it's like, no, you need to take care of her voice. You need to take care of her vibrato. She doesn't need to go that high, because I see some health issues, like I said, when it possibly pertains to her vocal cords. If she hasn't had that, but I think it likely comes from her trying to bang that note to death, to the point where, like I said, it may come across like you're screaming. Okay. Stay below the horizon. Okay. Stay below. I still feel like it can probably hit the same, but you may run into the issue, like I said, where it may not be welcomed by the masses, in my opinion. Okay. So let's look at her degree when it comes to her moon. Now, her moon is on the 16th degree. The 16th degree, if I'm not mistaken, I believe is a Cancer degree. Could be wrong about that, but for some reason I'm thinking, yes, it is, because 17 is Leo. So let's look and see what moon 16 degrees Taurus says. Okay. Taurus 16. Okay, so what I have here? Misdirection, ignorance, unpopular, anti-mainstream. What did I say? Remember, I just said that. I just said it may not necessarily be popular in a manner when it pertains to if she actually uses her voice in the right octave. Okay. Now, with her moon being in the 10th house, when it pertains to her career, unfortunately, and also when it pertains to using her voice, is going to be an unpopular one. So again, if I'm just pretending that I'm talking to Demi Lovato maybe earlier on, I would possibly warn her about this. Not saying don't, but I'd probably warn her about this, kind of like saying, in a way, your moon is kind of coming across a little bit broken, a little bit debilitated. You're not necessarily going to get the response from the public that you would like. But then the response to that from her may be, okay, I'm just going to go possibly anti-mainstream. No, that's not the solution. How about maybe this isn't necessarily for you? How about that? It may not necessarily for you, even though you can use your voice. Just because you can use your voice, or just because your voice may be able to give me a melody, it don't necessarily mean that being that type of singer is for you. I hate to say it, maybe background. And I hate to say it because I know how people feel about the Demi, but maybe more background, because again, the moon, think about it, guys. The moon is rather solo, if we're gonna be honest. I mean, a lot of planets are solo, but the moon just gives me very solo energy. I don't know why. It just does. So her solo career, I don't know how that's gonna do. Okay, not to like her moon is squaring her Aquarius. And look, Aquarius can be musicians. Look at that. Your moon, your symbol of popularity, is squaring your Saturn and Aquarius. She would technically be going through her Saturn return right now. And her Saturn return is in the 6th house, or her Saturn's in the 6th house. So her themes possibly associated with the Saturn return here could be themes tied to 6th house, which could be, employer, working, 9-to-5 job, a routine, pets, what else? Health, wellness. So she, during her Saturn return, the energy may be calling for her to do an overhaul when it pertains to her health, and especially when it pertains to how she communicates. So we can see somebody completely turn the wheel, maybe even do somewhat of like a 180, I guess, when it pertains to their musicianship. A musicianship, if I'm being honest, a musicianship that may not really necessarily be there. You know how some people, they just got it. They were born with it. Out the womb, they could hold a tune. Okay. Or out the womb, they just have this talent that kind of just like blows you away when it pertains to the voice. Not saying she doesn't have talent, but what if it's just this particular area? Look, you can get vocal lessons to cover up the possible lack of talent in this particular field. I mean, let's be honest. Actors do it all the time. You see some people acting, you're just like, good God, like why, but they could get better over time from intense coaching and stuff like that. So maybe we have one of those situations where not acting, voice lessons and stuff that could be the reason behind this belting type of voice. Even though, just like I said, just go lower. It just seems like it will just register more for her. And it may possibly register more when it pertains to the masses, but I don't think she's going to do it. Okay. She may even possibly have an unhealthy habit when it possibly pertains to money, especially when it pertains or honestly, the money may be like towards food or Taurian things. That may be where the unhealthy habit may come into play. Okay. But back to what I said, with her return, this is the theme here. She got to get right whenever it pertains to her health. I would say also possibly during this Saturn return, she may find herself being at odds when it pertains to people from her generation that she may have possibly worked with. Because remember, the sixth house is the house of kind of like, I think maybe like a co-workers possibly. But, I said like employers, okay? Or even if it's not people that she worked with, it also may be the people that she is signed to when it pertains to like record deal. There may be some push and pull. There may be some issues when it pertains to that. I mean, I would say some type of a manner that it comes across like she is doing something. It just seems like she's like kind of like, I don't want it to be a situation. Is it possible for you to become like mute, like to damage your voice so bad that it's like so hard for you to even communicate? I mean, if she's not careful, that's what we possibly are looking at. Whenever she gets older, this could be mid-40s. So right now is the time to try to reverse. She's just now in her 30s. Yeah, she just turned 30. So she's just now in her 30s. Okay. She needs to start taking better care of her voice, or she may not really have much of one at all when she gets, like I said, mid-40s. But back to what I said, there seems to be some difficulties. There still seems to be maybe some strife when it pertains to people that she grew up with. I don't know why I'm getting group home type with Demi Lovato. I don't know if she had been in a group home or something like that, but something about a group home for some reason is coming through. Unless whenever she was working, like whenever she was younger, the dynamic may have felt more of like I almost said boot camp, unless she's been in boot camp, or it may have felt like that whenever she was with other people in her same like industry. So these would be people in her generation, close to her age. Like I said, I'm getting group home or I'm getting kind of boot camp type of energy. This is below the horizon, and with her Pluto being there. So we probably may never know about said boot camp there or group home type dynamic. Not saying group home is bad, but shit, it can be depending on who's running it. Okay. So with her Pluto kind of like being all the way down there, there may be some whispers about this, but in terms of us actually getting the truth about this dynamic, I don't know if that's going to happen. Okay. We have a 50 here, in my opinion. I don't know if that actually happened, but it's like her voice or because Mercury's speech, whatever it is somewhat of like a loss for her, definitely. Especially when it pertains to other celebrities. But I was about to say, she may find herself in a little bit of a pickle now. And again, like I said, maybe the people in a group home, they may not even talk to her anymore. So even possibly during her Saturn, she may be finding herself in a little bit of a more maybe depressing state because she's lost people that she used to talk to, that she may have used to think they were like her best friends or something like that, but they're not answering her phone calls, maybe. But this may even possibly been something that she dealt with growing up. When it pertains, if we're talking about destiny, since we're on the topic of Saturn return and, Saturn, if we're talking about destiny here, I'm telling you, I just got a feeling, I think she's going to lose her voice, or that is where she's going when it pertains to her being in music or just really entertainment. She's losing her voice, rather that be like, I don't know, an energetic metaphysical thing, or it could be a real thing. it's not there. But to be honest, I don't think it was really there. But that's my opinion. Okay, I could be wrong. I don't care about that. Another thing as well with her, I'm kind of bouncing all over the place. So just follow me. But with Mars making a trine to her Saturn in Aquarius, she needs boxing, like jujitsu or something like that when it pertains to health. She honestly may be one hell of a boxer, and we may not even realize that. Because I talked about possibly the depression, or it really could just be pent up anger. Oh, I think Miss Demi Lovato can throw a mean punch. I don't know if she has ever done boxing, but I'm telling you something. I think she could. Okay. But I mean, I don't know if we may possibly see her maybe getting in the ring. They have those celebrity boxing matches, which that may not really be a good look for her, but we're not going to rule it out. Okay. So I kind of went off of the rails a little bit. I started talking about the moon, and then we moved on over because I got into the thing of it being unpopular, and it looks like her moon is hitting her Chiron in Leo. So with Chiron, with her wounded healer being in Leo, we can say that her healing probably is tied to maybe the father, or just tied to children, or just tied to performance, tied to maybe even sexuality, maybe. Because the fifth house, which normally is Leo, is tied to sex. I've talked about it before. I see the fifth house, is more like casual sex, whereas I see, like they say, the eighth house is, sex. That's more intimacy to me, than kind of like the one night stand type of vibes. But yes, so that could be things that she has to. I mean, this gives me the energy here of someone where, I mean, there definitely is a loss here when it pertains to sexuality, but it feels like it is more so of a battle with self when it pertains to accepting one's sexuality. But my opinion would also be, we may be looking at someone who may go with what's sexually popular, since her Chiron is squaring her moon at the top of her chart. That's what you have to watch out for, in my opinion, when it pertains to her, because it is in the house of losses. So we may possibly have somebody who has definitely experimented. However, I question if her her sexuality is actually what she believes deep and down inside, or is this I hate to say it, is it a money grab? Is it a popularity thing? Because like I said, this loss possibly when it pertains to sexuality or just who she is as a person, the culprit here may be father. Maybe one of those fathers where it's like, I'm going to pick you up, and they just don't show up. So the concept of self-worth maybe isn't really, just self-worth, period. Maybe it just really isn't there. And it may have started here. I don't know if her dad maybe was in prison, but also she has to be careful, because we know the 12th house is also the house of what? Affairs, drugs, and stuff like that. Miss Demi Lovato may have an affair under her belt that she may have gotten some heat for, but it probably went away. Remember I said, with her being more on the 20th, this is just my opinion, she may have that rallying of community that gets behind her as soon as something negative like that is about to come out. And you may hear about it a little bit, but it goes away. That's where that community energy, I think, starts to swirl around her, and it benefits her. So that's definitely a benefit to her, I would say. Okay. But she has a couple things here in the House of Secrets. Okay. And maybe, see, the other thing I would say here as well, with her moon in Taurus, and then we have Mercury in Leo, this kind of gives me a vibe of somebody who will lie to get money, especially when it possibly pertains to fame. Okay. Or this may possibly be someone who lies about their creativity to get money. So we possibly may have possibly a little bit of a liar here, especially when she and it may possibly only come out whenever she feels I don't know the right word for it. Maybe whenever she doesn't feel grounded. Okay, this may possibly be whenever the lies really starts coming out, or whenever she feels like backed in the corner. It's like, I gotta do something to possibly gain back that popularity. That's when the lies may pop out. I'm not saying this is a definite. I'm saying it's a possibility. Did I put up my thing? Because I would, it's a possibility. Okay, we're not saying it's a definite here. I did not think, because I ain't got time to be dealing with nobody in the mood today. Oh. Oh, there it goes. Anyway, so back to the chart. Now, like I said, I don't know how true it is. Even if somebody possibly was to catch her in a lie, I don't think she's going to admit to it. Maybe not. Okay. But I just, like I said, it's just like, I just feel like we have to be careful about that when it pertains to her. Hopefully she's not lying about her sexuality. Hopefully not. Okay. To garner publicity, because that would just be a bad thing. However, I'm not going to rule out the possibility that it could be a thing. Okay. So, let's see. We can look. Okay. So we can go with my theory. You guys know I love my theory when it pertains to her first name. Okay. Imagine that. Her first name, first letter is D. D is tied to Cancer, number one, which means that D, the letter D, is tied to the moon. Once again, D rules over the polarity. So you can see individuals with the letter D, Dr. Dre, Demi Lovato, Dakota Fanning. Is that the one? Maybe Dakota Johnson. You can see them popping in and out like a groundhog, in and out of the dirt when it pertains to their popularity. It doesn't really seem constant. It doesn't really seem, consistent. It may even be an energy here where there's long spurts of time where they're not popular at all. I mean, at all. And if they don't necessarily save their money or take care of their money, they're in trouble, especially if they're in the field of entertainment. Now, I think Dakota Johnson, okay, I can't think of the other letter associated with Cancer. Whichever. Some of these individuals that I named, they may be, was it nepotism or something like that? They may have parents that can foot the bill whenever they are not, in the up position. Okay. But with Demi, like I said, her moon would be in this manner. My theory is tied to like her career. Like I said, I'm not really sure that I am sold on the fact that it is music. Okay. But it may be something else in entertainment, like maybe a sitcom or something like that. But in terms of music, I don't know about that. I don't really get music here if I'm going with my theory, because we need to look at her moon. Her moon is in the 10th, but moon 10th house is also what? Structure, CEO. It also is an authority, I think. Hold on, I got to pull back up my notes. Where is it? Leadership, government, politics, manager, CEO, president, public figure. So that's what I said. Maybe sitcom, because we have the energy here of her being some type of public figure, but maybe not necessarily in the lane that she has chosen. Because let's be honest, this is a choice. Okay. Or maybe it's not a choice. I don't know, people. It could be a choice. It may not be a choice, whatever the situation is. But I'm just not getting the music. Okay. Public figure, yes. I don't even say Brandon, but I mean, let's look at her Haven, 14 degrees Taurus. Oh, the 14 degrees Taurus is an influencer degree. So that makes sense. So being somewhat of an influencer, because I think the girl or the woman from Harry Potter, I think who's that? Emma Watson. I think she has a couple of planets on the fourth. I think she has a stellium in Taurus, and I think it's on 14 degrees, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, 14 degrees. Yes, look. Influencer, fame, artistic, religious, mysterious, intuitive, self-reliant. Still not really getting the music here. So somewhat of an influencer, but I think they're looking at maybe, I hate to say it. Okay. We could possibly say that maybe Demi Lovato is somewhat of like a plant. because she has this influencer type of energy. So she can kind of, in a manner during that time, probably kind of like influence, okay, the masses in some type of a manner. Okay. And that could be based off of, who knows, products, who knows, skincare, food, whatever the heck. Okay. It could be like that. But I just don't necessarily get the music. So if somebody has possibly said, oh, yeah, I think Demi Lovato would make somewhat of like a plant, I can't shoot you down all the way, because you may possibly have somewhat of a point when it pertains to just based off what I see. Like I said, I get influencer, but I mean, I guess musicians are influencer. I just don't get the music, guys. I mean, I just don't get the music. Entertainment, yeah, but there's other things to do in entertainment besides music. Okay. But let's see. So what else can we look at here? Oh, yeah. So we talked about that. And then, of course, Taurus is tied to what? Don't say music or I'll scream. Ugh. Jewelry, cosmetics, fashion, luxury, entertainment, music, acting, banking, property. But I'm going to stand on what I said. I don't really get music. Not really. Not a true musician. Maybe one that's just, put there and they scrubbed her behind the scenes. But I'm just not really getting a true musician here. Hence why her music, or hence why her solo career, whatever it is that you want to call it, is unpopular, because it's like you're just not really doing it for the people. I really don't know what else she would be able to do. And like I said, there's so many things to do in the field of entertainment, but it may be time for her to explore maybe something else. I mean, the Disney Channel thing with her being on Disney Channel, that may have honestly been a good lane for her to be on. Okay. I'm not really sure who kind of like knocked on her door and be like, hey, you should just go do music. I don't know who did that. But like I said, just because you can hold a note, okay, and you may be able to hit a high note, it doesn't mean that you're supposed to be like that musician in that way. Okay. But either way, so yeah. I just don't think it just doesn't, it's just not going to be healthy for her. And that actually probably is going to play out to us in the public. We're going to see possibly what I'm saying in terms of it not really being healthy for her. But she probably is not going to, she's not going to yield. I don't think she's necessarily going to let it go. Okay. Because especially if it's all you know, what the hell else are you going to do? But she has it's not, I'm not going to say it's endless, but she has options. She just probably doesn't want to take them. Okay. Anyway. So I guess we can look at the L. Okay, so I haven't looked at L, honestly. I don't know what L is. L is Pisces. Okay, so it is tied to Jupiter and Neptune. So the subconscious, psychological issues and secrets. Would you look at that? Something that I've already talked about anyway. And look at that. Her Jupiter is at fall. Her Jupiter is in detriment in Virgo. Okay, because we know the opposite of Pisces, if we're just talking about sign to sign, if we go all across the street, the opposite of Pisces, it's across the street neighbor is Virgo. So if it's at home in Pisces, that means if we go across the street to Pisces neighbor's house, it ain't welcome there. So we're looking at, even those in the second house, which it can expand, but there's some difficulties there. You got to work harder. And that's the thing I feel when it pertains to, the planets that are in detriment. Is not saying that it's just the end of the world and your planet just ain't gonna do nothing. You just got to work harder. So if she's kind of thinking that she can coax her way through this and not work that hard, oh yeah, failure. Hate to say it. You got to work harder to overcome that detriment. That's what it is. Especially since hers is in the house of money. Gots to work harder. Okay. But she may even possibly put in her hard work maybe at the beginning, and maybe a part of her is kind of just like, okay, you know what, maybe I can lay off. No. Because you can look up and then it could be like, boom, poof, where's the money? What happened to the money? Well, you stopped working. You stopped working hard. You can't do that. Okay. And her Jupiter looks like it is making an aspect to her Neptune in, was that Capricorn? So let's take a look. The end of her life. So as she gets older, she doesn't need to slack off. So she's going to have to figure out something. She's going to have to figure out, maybe what other can I go when it pertains to entertainment if she wants to stay in that lane in order for this to work out in my favor? Okay, because at the beginning, with her being the D, but at the beginning, she was the influencer during that time. I ain't gonna take that from her. But now she's getting older. So now the plan may change. Now your trajectory may be different than what it was whenever you were operating out of your moon energy. Because like I said, my theory, first letter, D, which my theory could be, it could show you what possibly may be a good career choice for you. So she did it. She got the fame right here. Moon conjunct Midhaven. She got that. But now, like I said, now where are we going from here? Because now you're not young Demi anymore. You're growing up. So what are you going to do? And she may be kind of like battling with that right now as she's going through her Saturn return. She may also be realizing that certain things that she said is unhealthy. And it may have definitely diminished her influence, diminished her fame. That she may possibly be kind of like dealing with that, having to sit with that realization like, damn, my actions has a part to play in this, you know? But anyway, so let's look at her Jupiter in the second. It looks like her Venus is in there as well. And would you look at that? Venus is at fall in Virgo. So she may not necessarily have the best of luck in a way when it pertains to relationships, especially the ones that she wants them to be public. So this may be a situation. If she's wanting the relationships to be maybe more public than them, ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's going to work in her favor. It may be to her detriment. It may be to her fall. Okay. I don't think she does that great when it comes to breakups either, in my opinion. Okay, so the way through this, like I said, it may be best for her. Okay, breakup. Okay, go to the gym. Go to the gym. Probably within that next hour. Get your ass up and go to the gym because she needs that. She needs that outlet because I sense the anger with her. I sense it's like the internal destruction. I sense that with her. And I would say that's something that she just needs to watch out for. Okay. But let's look at, I said, her Jupiter. Her Jupiter is in 19 degrees Virgo. Now, like I said, Jupiter is already pretty much in decline. It's already in detriment. So you're going to have to scrub a little harder than maybe somebody else's whose Jupiter is exalted or at home. Okay. So Virgo, 19 degrees. Would you look at this? Fighting, quarrelsome, foreign people, secret enemies, melancholy. Look at the sadness. You know, remember I just said up here, I sense self-destruction. Okay. And the outlet for her, and it's definitely not, and I don't know if she tries an outlet in terms of some new treatment. No. What's that drink that they call that people try if they want to like have that spiritual experience? Doesn't it starts like an A or something like that? Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Some of those celebrities be bragging about that. And I think that's the drink that Heath Ledger took whenever he possibly passed away. I don't know if that's the story. It starts with an A. It's very hard to say, which is why I'm not going to say it. But I've seen the word. I just can't think of it. But yes, that would not be the right decision to start trying to experiment with new health regimens or new things that they may come out with and be like, oh, this is possibly going to help you sleep better. Oh, no. Because addictions may possibly follow. But whatever that name of that damn tea is, I would assume that she possibly has tried that. Again, my opinion, and her Saturn is retrograde. So, see, I don't want this to be a situation where we have somebody who's lying to fit in because they feel like that they fit in, especially with this Saturn in retrograde in Pisces. I hope that that's not the case because that's got to be a very empty life to live. Because at the end of the day, whenever you don't have any more lies to come up with, then it's like, now you got to sit with who you are. And who is that? You may not know. Okay. Aquarius, 14 degrees. So we have teaching or faithfulness, overcoming difficulties, affluence, cosmopolitan. See, that I can see that cosmopolitan kind of goes with, but isn't that like a cocktail? Hold on. No, the actual cosmopolitan, not the magazine. I hate whenever they do that. I think it's a drink. You guys know I don't drink, so I wouldn't know. Of course, they're just gonna, no, don't. Okay, I think it's a drink, either way. But remember I just said here, it shouldn't be a situation where you are, mixing things or you are trying things because they're saying it can fix this, it can fix that. She may also have, her dreams may be interesting. And I don't know if maybe she possibly wants to dream more because remember, her being born on the 20th has esoteric powers. Maybe she doesn't know it, or maybe she does know it, and maybe she's trying to bring that out more. So she may even mix things. That may possibly be where, unfortunately, the overdose comes from. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. And it feels like the people that may be recommending this stuff to her are women, possibly the women around her. Okay. It's so odd. I mean, I don't know if maybe this is a situation where women are giving her the drugs instead of the men. Don't know. And she also needs to look, I'm not saying don't do it because she's grown as hell, but the least you do is eat. At least eat something. Because I don't think she really eats when she kind of is, thinking about doing these things. It's too on the edge for me when it pertains to experimenting. I would say most of her issues or slip-ups here comes from experimenting. And she has to be careful when it pertains to that, especially when it comes to these people that you hang out with. Like I said, it feels like it's more so the women than the men that are kind of like, maybe not bad influence, peer pressure maybe. So she has to check her circle of friends, but it's just so odd how something detrimental may possibly try to come out about her, and then boom, all of a sudden the community comes out of nowhere. Maybe the community maybe it's spiritual protection. Maybe that could be the community that comes out of nowhere and kind of like, surrounds her like a bubble. Okay, we can't rule out the possibility of that. So we're going to do maybe one more thing. Okay, she has North Node in the 5th house. But I already talked about it anyway. She got the fame, okay? It's the matter of keeping it, okay? It's the matter of keeping it. So her sun is in the 1st house and it's in Leo. I talked about her Jupiter. Talked about that. I talked about pretty much the end. Oh yeah, here we go. Where'd he go? Because that Jupiter placement would be signifying kind of like the end of her life. So was that the right one? Maybe I read the wrong one. Nope, that's right. Jupiter, or no, her Saturn. Lord, I'm getting myself confused. Her Saturn destiny. Okay. So her destiny, part of her destiny is going to be, she needs to overcome difficulty. She also needs to learn her lesson when it pertains to things that have happened, possibly whenever she was younger. I don't know if she possibly has had an eating disorder. I don't know if that, but that would suck, of course. But I don't know if that has been reported on. But like I said, she needs to be careful about that because we may find somebody now and possibly instead of drugs, actually taking the drugs, now she may be like drinking them. We don't want that. No, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. We do not want that. Okay. I don't know if she has some issues with sleeping, but that doesn't need to be the solution. Work out. I really telling you that she should work out. Like she really should. I think it would be like a miracle worker for her in some type of a manner. Even if it's one of those things where people are trying to tell her, oh, you don't need to work out. Screw them. Don't listen to that. You need to work out because I really do feel like it's going to help, especially with this Saturn placement right here. It's going to help. I feel like it's also going to possibly not slow down her mind, but I think it's also going to help her think more clearly when it pertains to communication, what she says, or just when it pertains to just her intellect. What's weird? This gives me, is there such thing as like fame training? Because maybe she kind of like had that possibly whenever she was like younger. And that's why she may possibly be kind of like stuck in this bubble of fame. gotta have fame, gotta have fame. Like it kind of feels like she doesn't necessarily, she may not really believe that there is anything else outside of the life of fame, which can be detrimental because, like I said, with the moon ruling over the masses, you're not always going to be up. And especially with her first initial being a D, she's going to probably be down maybe more than she is up. But she has to cherish up those up moments to the fullest in order for this to work. Because this can be turned around. And that, pardon me, and that is my point when it comes to me doing these charts. It's not to bash. It's not to be like, oh my God, this person sucks. It's more so of like, look at this. This could be somewhat of like a hindrance, but it's not the end all be all. We can work around this. We can work through it. We can find another way, but that becomes, that can be a little bit difficult because, we have free will and people are going to do whatever the hell they want to do. But her biggest thing is going to be not listening, not learning her mistakes. That's going to be her downfall, especially, like I said, when it pertains to her health, taking care of herself, self-care. She's got to listen to that. And she probably should not be listening to people in the same industry as her because their suggestions may not necessarily be correct. You need an outlier, somebody that's not in that particular lane. I feel like, and that's going to do wonders. That's why I said, I wouldn't even know if I would even go to somebody who's like a celebrity boxer. I would find like somebody who's like having classes at a regular old gym and I'm in there. Okay. That she needs to remove herself, I feel. And I think it will work well for her. Okay. But she's going to have to find, I feel like, something else because as far as this whole music thing, to be honest, I don't know if this is really going to uphold at this particular point. It may have worked whenever she was younger. And that, honestly, that was a stretch. But as she's getting older, I think she really needs to find something else. And if she's dealing with like a tough time right now, I think she actually is coming to the realization of that. Like it may be time for you to do something else for the health of yourself. Now, if she's not really interested in taking care of herself, then that's her choice. But this is just my observation from this. Okay. So, yeah, we'll leave it there, people. Questions, comments, concerns about Demi Lovato's chart. Okay. Well, look at that. I hope she sticks with that. I hope she sticks with realization. But I think thank you, Yolanda, for the information. But I think, like I said, the issue when it pertains to Demi Lovato, she starts to panic whenever, that fame or that influence is starting to dwindle away. That's whenever the panic sets in. She starts possibly doing crazy stuff. She starts slipping back into her old ways. We doesn't need to do that whatsoever. That's why I said some sort of physical exercise, I really feel like will work wonders for her. Okay. But thank you, Yolanda, for that information because I did not know that. I just remember her being on Camp Rock and it's so crazy how long ago that was. But yeah, I remember her being on Camp Rock, but that was about it. Okay. And honestly, again, even if she wants to stay in the music, okay, but you need to drop the octave because at this, like I said, you don't want to be a point where it seems like you're screaming at the people. Okay. She needs to drop it. But okay. So yes, that was all pretty much. Yes, I didn't want to make this one too long. I want to try to keep it up under an hour. But yeah, we're out of here, people. Thank you guys for sticking around. Don't forget to drop your suggestions of people that you want me to look at, charts you want me to look at. And I will see you guys on the flip side.